What's up, everyone? Is the audio coming through okay? I'm trying a new kind of setup here tonight. What's up, Stefan? JG Hill, where's everybody tuning in from? Suzanne, when am I going on tour next? Miss me in Grand Rapids. I'm actually going to be out this week with Noah Guthrie and Good Trouble. Actually, let me plug those dates real quick. We're going to be opening for Dwight Yoakam. I think we're doing 4 shows in the Northeast. Stand by. I actually have someone I want to talk about tonight, but since we're, I might as well plug some tour dates. If anybody's watching this later and you want to jump straight to the topic, I will leave a timestamp down there, and Noah's website's not working for some reason. Okay, so November 7th, we'll be in Richmond, Virginia. November 8th, we'll be in Westbury, New York. November 9th, we'll be in New York in the city. And November 10th, we'll be in Mashantucket, Connecticut. So, if anybody is near any of those places and you want to come out to a show, come see us play. We're opening for Dwight Yoakam, which will be fun. What happened to the Strat giveaway? It got given away. We got a winner. We picked a winner over on Instagram. Actually, like almost a month ago now. So, we picked a winner. Guy in England won it. I hope he's gotten it by now. We shipped it like 4 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, stuff like that. So yeah, what am I playing through tonight? This Fender down here. That's one of the new Tone Master Deluxe reverbs, and what you guys are listening to right now is actually the DI out. It's got a mono DI out, and this is just the amp right now. There's no other pedals or anything. I mean, I did not want to like this amp. They emailed me a few weeks ago asking if they could send it out, and I kind of responded in a nice way and said, I'm good. I don't need a solid state deluxe. But they sent it out to me anyways, and it's actually pretty good. I mean, for what it is, a solid state deluxe, it's not bad. So, let's see here. Do I have perfect pitch? Absolutely not. Jillfinger, Mary Spinner dropped her new song. She actually dropped it the other day, but thank you. I was really happy to be able to play on Mary's new single. If you haven't heard it, it's on Spotify, iTunes, everywhere you get music. I think she released the video today that has the audio in it, so you guys can go check that out and listen to it. Yeah, I made a video about playing on her stuff and Noah's stuff. Noah just released Hell or High Water as well. So, 2 good friends of mine released music that you guys should go check out. I played on both of them, so that's fun. So yeah. This guitar is still tuned down to D, by the way, which I really love. So yeah, I kind of was thinking about something. Speaking of releasing music, I was thinking about this thing that I've had this idea for a while of, like, things that you are afraid of. Things that you, and I don't mean like being afraid of spiders or anything like that. I mean like things that you actually really want to do and want to accomplish, but you're kind of afraid to admit to yourself that you want to do them. There's that kind of fear. Everyone has it. We've all felt it. I have always found that if I can put myself in a position to pursue that fear and go after that thing that I'm actually really afraid of, it's nothing but good. Like it you can only find growth in it. And I was just thinking about that today, and I figured, you know what, might as well talk about it tonight on a live stream, because I feel like I don't really ever hear people talk about this kind of stuff. Like, going after what you're afraid of, as long as it's in a healthy way. I feel like, so a good example for me is this YouTube channel. I've talked about this before. I wanted to start making YouTube videos years ago, and the reality is, like, I actually did. I tried to start making videos like 3 years ago. There's a series of videos on my channel that are private and will remain private that I made like probably almost 4 years ago at this point. And I got in my head about it because nobody was watching them, and I was afraid of the rejection. I was afraid of not being good enough to do it, and so I talked myself out of it. And when I started again in January of 2018, it was with that fear was definitely still there, but I think the desire was stronger, and I'm dealing with it like right now. You know, for the past year or so, I've had this kind of desire to put out my own music, stuff that I've written and worked on, and I'm not there yet, but it's I wanted to talk about it tonight because it's something that I'm afraid of. Like, I'm pretty honestly terrified. Now, speaking of Mary and I have actually talked about this together, you know, because she's definitely a lot farther along in that world than I am, like the singer-songwriter world than I am. And yeah, it's a terrifying thing, but I feel like that's because I'm so afraid of it. It's probably where I need to go. It's probably what I need to do, because behind that door, behind that sort of facade of the fear of failure, the fear of rejection, the fear of not being good enough, the fear of not putting out something good, the fear of not being creative enough to actually do it or talented enough to actually do it, like behind all of that, I think is something really good and really powerful. Like there's a lot of growth to be found there. I feel like everybody has that. I feel like it's one of those things we can all relate to, right? Like, whether it's trying to go for something at your job that you don't know if you're qualified for, or like trying to go to a school, or trying to pursue something like music and not being sure if you are good enough to be able to do it, right? Like, I had that fear for a long time too, man. Like, a long time. Yeah, it's a thing. And like I said, I don't really see anybody talking about it, but I feel like it's something we all deal with and we should talk about from time to time, you know? I don't know if somebody in the comments wants to let me know, like, what's something that you guys are afraid of that you feel like you actually should probably pursue, you know? We'll answer some questions here in a little bit. We'll talk about some gear or whatever you guys want to talk about. But singing in front of people, Elia, yes, yes, trust me, I feel the exact same way. I'm working into that right now with Noah. Actually, he's got me singing harmonies now on, I think, 3 or 4 songs. Which on this, RJ Ronquillo, everyone. RJ, what are you afraid of? But yeah, like, singing for me is a big one, man. Like, I want to be able to sing, but I know enough about music and I respect enough actual singers, my friends who are actual singers, to know that I need a lot of work. I need actual practice. I need actual training with singing, but it's something that I really want to do, and it's something I want to get confident at and comfortable with. You know, I'm never going to be like a powerhouse vocalist, I know that, but I want to be able to have the confidence and the ability to, like, get on stage and sing songs in front of people. Like, right now, what is it, November whatever of 2019, you know, right now it feels completely impossible. It feels like completely unobtainable and completely impossible. So But there's been plenty of things that I'm doing now that at one time I thought was completely impossible and unobtainable, you know. It just takes, you got to put the work in, man. So I completely agree. Let's see what else here. Bill, how do you get better at singing while playing? I don't know. Somebody tell me, because I'm terrible, man. I've started trying to practice, like, playing stuff that I know, like even doing a simple riff like that and trying to sing over it is super hard for me. Really, really hard. You know? Chris, you fear songwriting. You convince yourself that you don't do it well, and it's been a challenge to push through that. Yeah, that's the other thing, man. It's like that constant, you know, the whole you are your own worst critic thing. I feel like we all deal with that, especially, you know, I would say that pretty much everyone on this live stream who's watching this channel is a creative person. You guys are all into music. You're all into guitars, I'm assuming. And I think that's something that plagues a lot of creative people, is that fact that, like, you are your own worst critic. Nobody's going to talk yourself out of something quicker than you are. Dude, there's been so many things I've talked myself out of. So many videos I've wanted to make that I've talked myself out of because I didn't think I could do it, or I was qualified to say it, you know? Kevin, learn your guitar parts so you can't get it wrong, then work on vocals separately, then put them together. It took you 10 years of playing until I could do that. Yeah, I kind of feel that way. It's probably going to take 10 years, man. Let's see here. Luke Guitar, thanks, man. Do most of the good singers you work with take voice lessons? You know, that's a really good question, actually. A lot of the good singers I know, some of them teach voice lessons. In fact, I'm about to start taking voice lessons from a good friend of mine here in town named Dee Dee. She's amazing. Jessie, I think, was trained from an early age. I know she went to, like, a performing arts school. Noah doesn't actively take lessons, but I think he has... Actually, I don't know if Noah's had any training. If Noah's on here, comment and tell us if you've had any training, because I don't remember. It's kind of split, man. A lot of my really talented singer friends, some of them have come up with training, some of them haven't. I know Mary came up with a lot of training. Mary Spinder has done a lot of, like, classical training, which has helped her out in her singing. Yeah, man, it's crazy. But again, like, the main point here, and I've learned this from experience, is if you can get to that point where you can actively identify that, because it's not all fear is this way. I found some things, like, some fear is a good thing in the fact that it's going to keep you from getting hurt, like maybe even physically hurt. Some fear is like a fear of just, like, knowing that you're just not, that's not what you want to do, and you're not cut out for that. But then what I'm talking about is that sort of fear that when you immediately think about it, it's like, oh, I don't want to do that. Like, oh, dude, I don't want to sing on stage in front of people. No, I'm good. I don't want to do that. But if you think about it for just a minute and you kind of dig underneath it a little bit, you actually realize, like, oh man, I kind of really would actually like to do that. I would like to be able to do that. I would like to put an album out of my own material, you know. I would like to do all this stuff, and that's what I'm talking about, is being able to identify that kind of fear and be able to stand up to it and push through it and learn through that process. And you're going to fail in that process, and being able to learn through that failure and being able to not let it stop you. That's huge, man. That happened to me with the YouTube thing, like 4 years ago. I experienced some failure and I let it stop me. I talked myself out of doing YouTube videos, even though I desperately wanted to make videos. I loved making videos. But I let that fear get in the way, and I let it stop me for another 2 years. I didn't make YouTube videos, and I put it off. But that drive and that desire and that fear never went away for me. It stayed there. It was like that thing at the back of my mind, like, man, I'd really like to. And then a big part of it too was watching Rick, watching Rick's channel grow from a front seat was huge for me, because, it showed me, as like, oh, you actually can do this, and it is possible. So yeah, man. Peter, thanks, man. Thanks for watching. Oh, this is cool. VPMI, tomorrow you'll meet a band that you're going to produce one song for. It's your first time in your life as a producer. Kind of nervous but excited. Exactly, man. That nervous energy is good, because I think being in that mindset where you're nervous and you're kind of afraid of screwing it up, that's a lot of times when you're capable of doing really, really good work, because you care and because you want to make it part of what you do. And so you're going to try really hard to make sure you don't screw it up, i.e. you're probably going to make a really good track with this band. Yeah, most times when I've had real bad screw-ups is when I like phoned something in and I thought, oh, I've got this is easy, and then that's when I really eat it. Nurin B, you need advice for being for a child producer. You're 12. Well, I would tell you at 12, listen to as much music as you can from as wide a variety of genres and influences as you can, and just start making stuff. Like, just start making stuff. Even if it sucks. Just make it. Taco, where's the whiskey? I forgot to grab some. I had some technical difficulties in setting up this live stream tonight, and I was focused on that and forgot to grab my whiskey. I got a little bit of Woodford Reserve left in there. Might grab in a minute, but yeah. Andrew, thanks, man. Hell or High Water rocks. Appreciate that. That's a really good song. Noah wrote that song. It's fantastic. So, yeah, that's basically what I wanted to talk about. Kevin, sucking at music is the first part of becoming a good musician. Look at Charlie Parker. He got kicked off stage when he started out. Was it Charlie Parker that had a... Oh, wait, that's from that movie Whiplash. I don't know if that actually happened. I'm not going to say it publicly. Frank, how cool was Cindy's guitars? Cindy's was awesome. Cindy is very, very cool. Yeah, her stuff is awesome. Man. So many comments going by. Oh, tell us about meeting Paul Reed Smith. Yeah, I met Paul Reed Smith yesterday. It was cool. Over at Righteous Guitars, Paul came and did like one of his private talking seminars. It was somewhat public. You just had to sign up for it. And so I just went just to hang out. Didn't make any videos or anything. I just wanted to... I've never met him. I never have seen him speak or anything. I own one of his guitars. It's in the other room. But... so me and my dad went, actually, and that was a lot of fun, because my dad and I used to do that kind of stuff together all the time when I was younger. When I was a teenager and like first getting into guitar, my dad and I would go down to music stores like Guitar Center, and Sam Ash, and we would just like I would play guitars, and we would kind of just learn about this stuff together. So me and my dad went, and it was really cool. Paul talked for like God, almost 2 hours. Just took questions, told stories. And for me, it was really cool because it really put PRS as like a guitar and a company in a new light for me. It was kind of enlightening in that way. You know, I traditionally haven't been like a PRS kind of player. I just felt like the kind of thing they did was not really my thing. But now, after listening to him talk, I'm like, okay, maybe I need to like try and get a custom 24 or something, you know? I know that the quality control on those guitars is insanely high, and they're beautifully made instruments. So yeah, it was just really cool, man. The cool thing about Paul that I really respect is you can tell by listening to him that he never wants to stop learning. He's always trying to learn and gain knowledge and learn how to do things better, learn new ways of doing things. Like, and I think they try and put that into the company, and they try and put that into the guitars. Like, they're one of the only companies I can think of who makes guitars where it's like, it's almost like an automotive manufacturer where every new model year there's all kinds of new improvements and stuff that they're trying to do better and trying to make things work better and sound better, you know? I think that's cool, man. Ooh, the Ray. This is a really good question. Do you ever remember being excited by your fear? Yeah. I get excited by the type of fear, like what a lot of people call stage fright, of like that nervous energy before going on stage in front of a bunch of people. I live on that fear, man. I love that. That nervous, anxious sort of adrenaline kind of thing that you have. Dude, that's my thing. I love it. Leo, thanks, man. What if motivation scares you? I don't know. I don't know why motivation would scare you. I think people have a natural tendency to be motivated to do the things that they really want to do. I know I'm that way. I will work non-stop on something. I will literally work myself into the ground if it's something that I'm truly passionate about and I truly want to do, you know? Let's see here. Tyler, you probably like a 594. You know, I've tried a 594, and the cool thing about it, well, I mean, it was cool. It's I already have a Les Paul though, and a 594 basically is a Les Paul. I think if I was going to get a PRS, I'd want to buy a custom 24, because to me that is like the PRS. You know what I mean? It's what Paul's been building since the beginning. It's kind of its own thing. There's not really anything else like there, at least that I'm aware of, that does that custom 24 thing. So I think that's what I'd be in the market for. Sam, do I know Benjamin Forehand? Yes, Benjamin is one of my closest friends, and he is one of the best guitar players I've ever known. Ben is a monster, unbelievably talented musician, and a great guy. He's just a humble, good human being, you know. JG Hill, 410 watching. Thanks for the update, man. Any plans on getting back to the road and Backstage Journal? Yep. I've got some Backstage Journals coming this week. Well, they'll actually probably come next week, because I'm on the road this week. By Betsy, if stage fright is something you like, well, then you'll do great when you start singing. Yeah, we'll see. Maybe. Noah Jones, Steve Rick from AIM says hi. Dude, Steve is one of my favorite teachers I've ever had, man. He, that dude knows chords unlike any other player I've ever seen. Like, the chords and the harmony that dude understands and can play still blows my mind to this day. I was actually taking lessons from Steve privately for a while after I graduated AIM. He's great, man. He's the one that got me to work on the, let's see here. The if anybody can name that solo, you'll get a virtual high five. Yeah, Steve is amazing, man. Is he still at AIM? Oh, somebody earlier was asking about this telly. When did I get this telly? So, this is one of the Vintera series tellies. So when Fender reached out about the Deluxe, I said I'd like to try and get my hands on some of the Vintera series stuff because I haven't played any of it, and there's people on the channel that have been asking about it. So they sent me two. They sent me this one, and they sent me another one that we're going to do a giveaway on. So I don't know if I should show it yet. Some people have already seen it, I think. But yeah, so this one's going to stay with me. The other one we're going to do a giveaway on. I don't have the details on it yet, but yeah. Oh. So yeah, man. Devarsh, what? Okay, people are saying show it. All right. Oh god, it's a bit heavier than the Deluxe, but so this is the other one with the Bigsby, and so we will be giving this one away. I'm not sure how yet. See here, this one might need to be tuned. Oh, I should say too, for all of you Line 6 Helix users out there, I am about to release a version 2 of my amps pack. You can find the original version linked below, and what we're going to do is if you've bought the original version of the amp pack, we'll do a pay what you want for the upgrade. So you could upgrade for $1 to the new pack if you wanted. I'm adding new amps. All of the new amp presets will all have snapshots on them and everything. So yeah, if you're interested in that, the link will be below. Let's see. Yeah, man, it's a good telly. So yeah, these are Mexican made. The Vintera series is Mexican made. I'm gonna do a video with them in the coming weeks, but this one will be going home with somebody. I might take it on the road this week, actually. Really like put it through its paces. Yeah, man. So anyways, yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about. I think it's important to kind of, I know I needed to hear that at some point, and I felt like maybe at least one person out there needed to hear that. Like, you know, fear is good, and behind that fear is something that's really valuable and is something to be pursued. It's something to learn from. It's something to, you know, it's worth the pursuit. So, Buzz, what dirt box is that? So right now, this is just the amp. This is just the Deluxe. And for those of you who are joining, this is the Deluxe Tone Master. So this is the solid state Deluxe that they just released, and you're hearing it through the DI out. I've got it plugged into an interface that's being streamed live. So actually, the amp is muted right now. There's no sound coming out of the speaker whatsoever. So that's just the amp. The reverb is from the amp as well. And then this is the Mythos Mjolnir pedal. So the amp is cool. Like, you can tell, like, in the way it breaks up, you can tell a little bit that it doesn't quite compress in the same way that the tube version of the Deluxe reverb compresses. And I know I've played these amps a lot. These are like one of my go-to backline amps for gigs is the tube version of that amp. The reverb sounds good though. The reverb is digital, but it sounds pretty good, man. Paul, what do I think of the vibrato? So this is all amp. This is no other pedals on. Honestly, man, you know, my thought on this thing is like, does it sound as good? Well, okay, first of all, does it sound better than the tube version? No. Does it sound as good as the tube version? Pretty close. The advantages of it are it only weighs 25 pounds. You can run it silently like I am, or if you are using the speaker, I mean, it'll go from a full 22 watts down to like half a watt, I think. So, I mean, to me, that is a gigging amp right there. Like, that's an amp that you throw in the back of the car, you take down to the bar gig, to your wedding gig, to band practice, like whatever it is, that's what that amp is for. I wouldn't cut any records with it, you know, but, dude, it's 25 pounds. Like, I don't know what the tube version weighs. Somebody in the comments, let me know what the tube version weighs of the Deluxe Reverb reissue. Thanks, Peter. Appreciate it, man. Tom, what's up? How does the SS Deluxe feel under your fingers? Feels pretty good. I mean, it doesn't compress quite in the same way as the tube version does. Let's hit it with some fuzz, shall we? See how it does with some fuzz. This is the Jext Telez Jext Fox, the octave fuzz. I'm gonna go to the neck pickup. So it's pretty good. I can tell the way the octave is hitting the front of the amp. It doesn't react the same way as like my Divided by 13 or the Hiwatt does. It's good. It doesn't sound bad, but it doesn't react the same way. So that's clean. This is the Jext Fox fuzz from Jext Telez. All right, Deluxe Reverb reissue is 42 pounds, so that's pretty much half the weight. This is the fuzz with the octave turned off. Not bad. Considering that's the clean tone. I do still have the Beatronics Swarm. I also have the Beatronics Royal Jelly, and that pedal is amazing. It's incredible. Can I crank the amp a bit? Too much string noise. Yeah, let me see. Is that a little better? So here's the thing, man. I think my take on it is I was pleasantly surprised. It does have that whiff of digital amp to it. It's not nearly as digital as I thought it would be. And in fact, let me do this. I'll turn the speaker on so you can kind of hear it in the room, because it does sound different coming out of the speaker than it does through that DI. So let me not blow out the microphone here. So that's probably at 1 watt right now. Oh, let me roll the mic down a little bit here. My Novo through it. Novo's got a little bit better pickups in it, I think. See, it sounds way better with those pickups, I think. What pickups are these? These are the Lollertrons. So these are Lollar Filtertrons, and they're amazing. Anyways, yeah, I'll turn my mic back up here. So yeah, I think this is a gigging tool. It's something to take down to your local bar gig, or out to your local jam, or to your band practice. Yeah. Man, so many comments going by here. Is the Macari's Tone Bender on the board, Tom? No, it's not. That pedal's not ever going to go on the board. That pedal will live in a safe place here at home. I did take it on tour. I took it on the Gary Clark Jr. tour back in August. So it spent some time out on that run, and then I've left it at home since, because it's expensive and I don't want something bad to happen to it. Kurt, so your twin reverb is too heavy? Yes. Yes. Every twin reverb ever made is too heavy. Blake, just tuning in, what's the verdict on the Tone Master? I think it's a good gigging amp. This is not going to replace any of this stuff. It's not going to replace the Kemper, the Helix, or anything, but it's a really... It sounded way better than I thought it was going to, for sure. Corey, is reading music worth it? It's hard to say, man. I think it depends on what you want to do. For me, and what I do in music, no, I don't need to read. I kind of learned how to read. Speaking of Steve Rick earlier, Steve was my reading teacher when I was at AIM, and I was terrible at reading, still am. But for what I do and like the type of gigs and stuff that I do, I don't read. But if you were wanting to do more big band type stuff, more corporate band type stuff, a lot of those gigs you will need to be able to read on. So let's see here. Sean, what's up, man? When is my signature Mythos pedal coming out? Soon. That's all I will say. It is coming out soon-ish. I'm very excited about it, though. We're getting to the point where we are working on the artwork for it now. So, yeah. James in the top chat. What's up, man? Love the channel. The people I would play for have moved out of state, and I'm struggling to find gigs and bands that needed guitarists. Thoughts? Yes. Thoughts. I don't know where you live or what city you're in, but in most metropolitan areas, there are open mics and open jams that happen periodically throughout your town. If you're trying to find gigs and you're trying to find people to play with or to play for, I would highly recommend trying out those settings. Like, go to the open mic nights, go to the open jam nights if there are any, and just hang out and meet people and talk to people. If you're like a guitarist who wants to play for somebody like a singer-songwriter, then it sounds like an open mic would be more your speed. You know, if you want to just like get up and jam with people and kind of do more maybe the improv thing, then open jams are always cool for that kind of thing. But yeah, man, like, that's a really great place to meet people because you're all there under the same sort of pretense, which is to play music. A lot of times it's people playing music they've written or they're working on, and it's a good place to meet people, man. Rowan in the top chat, thoughts on the Iridium versus Cab Zeus Mono? Ooh, not a totally fair comparison. The Cab Zeus doesn't do any amp simulation. It only does basically IR loading and stuff based around that. The Cab Zeus is really good. I would recommend the Cab Zeus if you have a couple of good like preamp style pedals. Like let's see here. I'm gonna shout out my friends at Origin Effects real quick. So this pedal, the Revival Drive, if you have something like this or any other kind of amp in a box pedals, Lawrence Petros design also does some really great stuff in that camp, like the 68 Drive I have right here. Something like this, if you have some stuff like this on your pedal board, then I would probably tell you the Cab Zeus is cool because, well, actually, I don't know, man. It's tough. Like, that Iridium is really good. And for like an all-in-one preamp and cab solution, it's kind of the best thing out there right now. I would love to see GFI System, the people who make the Cab Zeus, I would love to see them come out with something to kind of go after the Iridium and see what they can do with it. I really like the Cab Zeus stuff. So, but at the moment, man, if it was my money, with my setup and everything, I would probably go for the Iridium. And I misspoke on something in the video that I need to clear up. You can, on the Iridium, you can turn off the cabinet modeling and run it as an overdrive pedal. There's a way you have to do it. You have to hold down one of the foot switches to go into like an edit mode, and you can turn off either the preamp and just use the IRs, the cabinet, so basically use it like a Cab Zeus, or you can turn off the cab sim and use it like an overdrive pedal. So with that in mind, I would probably go for the Iridium, although it is kind of pricey at $400. I'm not sure what a Cabzus Mono retails for right now. It's probably quite a bit less expensive. So if you are cost sensitive and you already have some of these type of pedals on your board, then maybe the Cabzus is your play. Tone-wise, Iridium or Tone Master? Iridium. Iridium for sure. Graham, Hell or High Water came out on November 1st. It's out. Andrea, thanks for being in the top chat. Iridium or HX Stomp? 65 Scout is saying home. Yeah, so I talked about that a little bit in the video. It's tough, man. So here's my theory. If anybody hasn't seen the video, at the end, I posited this idea that I have. And this is just an idea. So nobody, like, go out on your forums or gear page or whatever and be like, oh, Rhett Shull said that Strymon's doing this, because I don't know. This is just an idea. I think that Strymon is working on... All right, so check this out. I'll put the guitar down for a second. Here's the two kind of... Here's Strymon's two form factors, right? You have the Iridium, just like their smaller footprint, you know, normal pedal. And then you have something like this, the Volante, right? Which is more powerful, does more stuff, bigger form factor. I think they're working on something like the Iridium that will be in this type of box. That's my idea. If I were working at Strymon and if I were running Strymon, that's what I'd be doing. I would release this, because from a marketing standpoint, it's great. You have this as your proof of concept. This is basically to say, hey, look, we're in the modeling game now. This is what our amp models sound like. They sound really good. Oh, and by the way, we can do the IR thing too. So here's proof of concept. Then I think they're going to come along with something like this. That's going to be the modeler, and they're going to try and cut the heads off of Line 6 and possibly, you know, maybe even Kemper, if Kemper tries to get into this game. I think Kemper is going after the HX Stomp too. The thing is, Line 6 killed it with the HX Stomp. It's one of the most powerful pieces of gear to ever come out for guitar players. Like, legitimately, it's insane what that thing can do in a pedal that is this size. These gear companies pay attention, man. They, you know, it's a very competitive market out there for those big players like that, for the Line 6s, the Strymons, everybody. And a company like Line 6, right now, I think they're still sitting on top with the HX Stomp, but they're not going to be sitting up there for long. I think this winter NAMM, we're going to see some big stuff that comes out from Strymon. I also think Kemper is going to be getting into that like HX Stomp sized game, maybe even Fractal. I mean, I know they have the FM3 coming out, but yeah, I don't know if that answers your question, Andrea, but Iridium or HX Stomp, it depends on your rig. It depends on what you've got set up already. Dad of the Gamer, love the channel, former touring guitarist, now worship pastor near Atlanta. Love to hear more about your experiences in the church gig. Ooh. So I played church gigs for the better part of like 5 or 6 years. There was a time when I did it full time, where it was literally all I was doing was playing in like the mega church scene in Atlanta. And I had some really good experiences in the church scene. Like, I learned a lot. I talked about this in my podcast this week. If anybody hasn't checked out the podcast, it'll be linked below. I had some really good experiences in the church world, and I had some really negative experiences in the church world. And because of those negative experiences, it's part of the reason I don't do the church gigs anymore. I don't really do the church stuff anymore. And musically, it kind of ran its course musically for me. There was a time when I really enjoyed playing that type of stuff, and I'm thankful for that time because it taught me a lot about, I mean, even tonally, it taught me a lot. And it taught me a lot about how to play parts and how to play to the song and how to not overplay. but yeah, it just got to the point where the negative experiences started to far outweigh the positive experiences, and when that happens, you need to get out of whatever situation you're in. It got to the point where it was, I'll put it to you this way, it got so toxic for me that I, for almost a year, wouldn't touch my guitar. Like, I would play a church gig, I'd come home, my guitar would sit in its case, and, you know, you're playing the same songs. All the same songs are on rotation pretty much at all these churches. So I would look at Planning Center, and I would see what I was playing, be like, okay, cool, I know all that stuff. And then would just pick my case back up on Wednesday or whatever it was, go to rehearsal, do the rehearsal, come home, wouldn't touch my guitar until Sunday morning again. And it was like that for a long time, man. I just got burned out. That's really it. It was burnout. So, yeah. Michael, Top Chat, thanks, man. Do you ever gig your Helix HX Stomp direct without a cab? You just got a stomp you're struggling with it versus your Tone King Majesty. I have not yet used... Actually, I have. That's not true. I have gigged the Stomp by itself. Both times have been for radio appearances. So the most recent one was 2 weeks ago in Charlottesville. I played with Jesse on a radio station there. And in those kind of situations, like, you're in a small, like, radio studio, right? And there's mics everywhere. So you can't, like, bring an amp, really, into that kind of situation. I mean, you can, but, yeah, it's better to have something like the Stomp. So I took my little Stomp mini board, basically, and just ran it. It sounded great. And then on another one, I actually ran my pedal board into the front of that Stomp, and it sounded great. I don't know that I would always do it, like, just the Stomp direct without a cab, just because I like having a cab on stage. I like having air moving behind me. I do miss that. With any kind of digital amp, whether it's the Kemper, the Helix, whatever, if I don't have air moving on stage from a cabinet, I miss it, and it feels bad to me. It feels... That's the only time that it really feels like I'm playing a modeling amp, is if there's not anything on stage with me. So, yeah. Let's see here. Let's see here. Zachariah, would you rather listen to a guitarist who can shred but has terrible tone, or a guitarist that's a mediocre player that has amazing tone? Well, I don't know. Shredding to me is cool, but it's not my favorite thing. I don't really listen to shredder guitar players. Nothing against it. I would rather listen to yeah, I'd rather listen to a mediocre player with great tone, for sure. Leo, are you happy with where you are right now? That's a heavy question. I am, actually. I'm unbelievably happy with where I am right now. Are you kidding me, man? Like, I get to make a living. I get to make a living playing guitar and making YouTube videos and doing live streams and traveling and playing music with my friends and going on tour. And yeah, are you kidding me? Of course. Like, I definitely still have goals and dreams and stuff that I'm working towards. You know, I'm not at all like resting on laurels or anything like that. But yeah, it's awesome. Life in music is awesome. It can be really hard, but I think it's awesome. Let's see here. I gotta turn on slow mode in this chat or something. Oh, saw me in Philly with the Black Keys. Thanks, man. Yeah, it was a fun show. Any chance the Deco will make it on the board? James is asking. The Strymon Deco. Okay, here's the thing. The Deco is probably not going to go on the board for one reason. Because I really like this thing. This pedal does everything that tape machine does. The reason I wanted that tape machine was for what this actual pedal does. If you don't know, the Deco it's called a tape saturation and double tracker. So this side is basically like a sort of an overdrive, but it's mimicking tape saturation. When you hit tape too hard, the natural compression and distortion you get from that is mimicked here. And then this is mimicking the delay that you would get from the multiple heads on a tape machine. So one of the main reasons I got this was so that when I'm mixing, I could take like drums, for example, or a vocal or whatever, and put it through this pedal to emulate a tape machine, which is why I originally wanted that tape machine. But the thing is, it's so finicky, and it half the time doesn't work, it doesn't sound right, and it's expensive to fix. And there's only one shop in Atlanta that can fix it, and they take forever. It's just like one of those things that it's kind of just a set piece at this point. It looks cool, but it's too much pain in the butt to use it. So the Deco's not going to go on the board because I want to be able to use it in like a mixing and recording context. But it's a very cool pedal. Am I demoing NAMM this year? No, but we are working on a couple of things for NAMM. I don't know if I can talk about it quite yet, or if I should talk about it yet. There's a couple things in the works for NAMM. I'm not going to be doing like a booth demo thing, thankfully. That's not the most fun thing ever. It can be kind of taxing at times. So I'm working on a couple things with a couple different people and a couple of different companies that I will be ready to announce at some point. Tommy, what was it like touring along with Gary Clark Jr.? What a monster player and love his falsetto voice. I am a huge Gary Clark Jr. fan. So I'm going to sound like a hipster right now, but I found Gary Clark Jr. in 2010. Okay, does anybody here remember StumbleUpon? It was that plugin that you would put on your internet browser, and you would like tell it a couple of things that you liked. You'd like tick some boxes, and you would click Stumble, and it would just take you to a random site. Does anybody remember that, or was it just me? I used to spend so much time on StumbleUpon. I used to waste so much time on StumbleUpon. Well, in 2010, I had StumbleUpon, or maybe it was 2011. It was one of the two. And StumbleUpon took me straight to Gary Clark Jr.'s website. And I think it was when he had just released his EP. Like, all he had out was his first EP. And I remember hearing Bright Lights. Like, you just went to his website and Bright Lights started playing. And immediately I was hooked, man. So to be on tour with him and to be opening in the opening band for him was awesome. It's kind of the ideal situation in my mind, because you're playing with people that you really respect. I really respect Gary. I really respect Zapata, Eric Zapata, the guitar player in Gary's band. And they are the coolest, most down-to-earth guys. Like, all the dudes in the band, you know, we'd finish a show and they would finish their show, and then they would just kind of hang out, and we'd be hanging out together. Like, that's kind of a rare thing, especially like when you're an opening band and you're out there with a high-profile headliner. Most of the time, the headliner doesn't have much to do with the opening band. But it wasn't really like that with Gary. I got to hang out with him quite a bit and have some really cool conversations with him. He is a humble, down-to-earth, grounded human being. And I mean that in the best way possible. He is... the dude just like wants to play guitar. You know, he's like any of us here on this live stream. He just wants to play his guitar and he wants to play it for as many people as he can, and he's killing it, man. He's killing it. So I'm a huge fan. I love his music. I'm a huge fan of him as a person, and I'm a huge fan of what he's doing for the guitar community as a whole. So I wish them the most success possible, and I think we may be doing some more stuff with them next year, which would be amazing. Have I picked up any new licks from seeing Dan Auerbach on tour? Not any new licks, Johan, but it definitely gave me some tonal ideas. Like, dude, his tone on this tour is insane. His fuzz sounds. I only got to meet him briefly. He's a pretty reserved guy, but I talked to him for just a second one night. He was very nice, very complimentary. I want to pick his brain about what fuzz pedals he's using because it sounds amazing, dude. If you guys have the chance to go see the Black Keys live on this tour, they're coming to Europe as well, go see them because the show's amazing. Yeah, dude, his tones are so good. Would like to see us get on tour with Marcus King Band. You know, we actually have done some stuff with Marcus King in the past. Before Jessie was doing her solo stuff when we were in the Muddy Magnolias, we played the Marcus King Family Reunion Festival 3 years ago. It was, I think it was the first year they did it. That was a ton of fun. Marcus is, dude. Okay. I've talked to some people about this. I kind of see them, and I could be totally wrong. I'm just, from my perspective, looking at it. I see them kind of taking the torch from the Allman Brothers and kind of carrying that into the next generation. And I don't mean they sound like the Allman Brothers. I don't mean that, like, any of that. I just mean they give me that kind of feeling. Like, I've seen Marcus play 10 times at this point. I've probably seen them live. We were on the Joe Bonamassa Blues Cruise together a few years ago. We played Family Reunion. We were at Ride Fest and Telluride a couple years ago together. And I've just kind of seen him around. Anytime he comes to Atlanta, I'll go out to a show. And obviously well, actually that's not true. I saw the Allman Brothers, but it obviously wasn't with like Dwayne or anything. But I've seen Greg Allman play a few times. I saw the Allman Brothers with Derek and with Warren in 2007. And I get that kind of vibe from Marcus King Band. Like they're gonna take that torch and carry it on, which is awesome. Dude, Marcus's set at Crossroads. So you guys will see in the DVD, like when the Crossroads DVD comes out, the first thing you should watch goes straight to the Marcus King Band set. He was out for blood that night, man. Like, there was an intensity on that stage unlike anything I'd never seen him play like that before, and I literally sat there for his whole set just like it's blowing my mind. Yeah, my dad's here. Me and my dad were at Crossroads. Marcus killed it at Crossroads. It was in fact, I know for a fact that there were some people, some well-known guitar players who were backstage watching his set thinking like, oh man, I don't want to follow that. You know? Yeah. Anyways, it's a good time to be in music, man. It's a really good time to be into guitar. It's a good time to be a guitar player. Like, honestly, man, people like to reminisce, and myself included, like to reminisce about the 60s and 70s and 80s and stuff. But I think we're kind of in the golden age of guitar right now, to be honest with you. There's more people playing guitar than there ever has been before. There's more people talking about guitar. There's more women playing guitar than ever, which is amazing. I love that. What's the statistic that's been going around? Like 50% of all new guitar sales these days are women. That's amazing. You know, gear-wise, there's never been better gear made for guitar players. You know, Robert Baker, what's up, man? Yeah, there's never been a better time to be a guitar player, man. The guitars that are being made today are as good, I think, as ever. Especially when you talk about like the boutique brands, the Novos, you know, the Wide Sky guitar. I mean, there's so many builders out there nowadays that are building incredible instruments. The amps, I mean, the amps that you can get your hands on nowadays, and the modeling stuff. It's a really, really good time to be into this world, you know. Whether it's a hobby or whether it's your living or your passion, like wherever you are on that scale, man, it's like, yeah, I think we're in a good place, you know. Let's see here. Let me catch back up on these comments. Yeah, Robert, it is the greatest time to be a guitarist, man, for sure. For sure. Are you gonna be at Winter NAMM, Robert? Yeah, outside of very specific vintage stuff, say guitars are made better now. I totally agree, man. Oh, man. Logan, if you could create your own dream band, who would make the roster? Oh. All right, so I have my like hypothetical band, and I have my probably like realistic dream band. So my hypothetical band is like my favorite players on each instrument that I would like to play with, but in real life, like if these people were actually in the room, I'd be like shitting my pants. Like if I had to like get up and play with these people, I don't know if I could do it. But that band, the Crap Your Pants band, would be the drums would be probably either Steve Jordan, Nate Smith, or Stuart Copeland, which I know that's three very different drummers. One of those three drummers. Bass, I'd probably have to go with Pino Palladino. Yeah. Keys, Booker T. And I would only want him to play organ. Like, that's it. And then I'd be on guitar, and then I'd probably want another guitar player. I'd have Doyle Bramhall II playing guitar and singing. That would be like the dream band. If I could put that band, or I'd have Gary Clark Jr. playing and singing. Or Eric Zapata, because I love what Zapata does sonically, and I would love to play with him in real life. Zapata actually might make my Crap Your Pants band and my real life band. Real life band, drummer wise, either, and these are people that I actually know and have played with, or friends of mine. I'd go either Terrence Clark, Ross McReynolds, or Ian Guthrie, or Timmy Jones. There's so many players, man. Bass, either Philip Scheidt, Zachariah Witcher, Calvin Knowles. Oh, this is hard, man. I've been really fortunate, man. The last 4 or 5 years, I've been able to play with some unbelievably talented players and musicians. And honestly, I would be honored to have any of them in my band. Like, straight up, any of them. Jason, if I made a band of just you and fellow YouTubers, who would they be? Ugh. All right. Adam Neely on bass. Who would play drums? You know what? I'm going to count this guy as a YouTuber, even though he doesn't have his own channel. I'm going to put Jack Jones on drums. If anybody's watched Rick Beato's 20 Greatest Drum Fills video, the drummer from that is an Atlanta guy named Jack. I'm going to have him on drums. Mary Spinder singing and playing. And I'd have Paul as another guitarist, actually. And we do a 3-guitar thing with Mary, Paul, and I think it'd be pretty good. Yeah, some good questions tonight, guys. Ooh, or RJ. See, that's the thing is, I'd want everybody. It'd be like a guitar-based band, like. And then I'd feel like I'd have to play something. If RJ was in my band, I would feel like I'd have to play something else because he can play everything way better than I can. Maybe we put Paul on. Oh, I don't know, man. This is hard. I don't know. I'd put RJ as the lead player, and I would gladly play rhythm behind RJ for sure. I actually really like playing rhythm guitar. I like playing lead too, but I really like playing rhythm, and RJ would be a really fun guitar player to play rhythm on. Yeah, there's so many good people on YouTube, man. Dude, like Robert's stuff, like the stuff that Robert Baker puts up on Instagram and his YouTube channel, like, dude can play. Like, Robert Baker can straight up play, man. It's just, yeah, it's mind-boggling to me. There's so many good people on this platform, so many good musicians. If I'd have had this when I was like 15, if I could have been watching these YouTubers like RJ and Robert and Mary and Paul and Samurai Guitarist and Adam Neely and Rick Beato and everything, I feel like I'd be a way better musician than I am now. Like, pentatonic all day. Hey man, that's all you need. 5 notes and the truth. Jason, be awesome to have RJ, Robert, Rick, and other YouTubers have a big jam session and stream it. That'd be a pretty heavy jam. Dude, there's so many good guitar players now. You know, Ariel Posen. I was watching his thing today with that pedal show. I actually need to finish it. I'm going to finish watching it when I'm done with this live stream. But, you know, I've gotten to know Ariel a little bit recently. Unbelievably nice guy and sick guitar player. Joey Landreth, same thing. Incredible guitar player. Incredible singer and songwriter. Josh Smith. Are you kidding me? Like, Josh Smith is one of my favorite guitar players out there right now. Sean Tubbs. Robert, yes. Tim Pierce. Pete Thorne. Dude, I was on the phone with Tim last night, actually. And to me, so Tim Pierce is probably one of my... He's like one of the main guitar players that I really look up to. Just in general, like as his career and his playing, Tim is the exact... Basically, Tim Pierce is the guitar player I want to be. Like, his style of playing, the stuff that he's done, the stuff he's played on. His musical sensibilities, his tone, his feel, he is everything as a musician that I like want to be. I respect Tim on such an immense level. And the fact that he's like on YouTube and sharing this information and like teaching us all how to do this stuff is amazing, man. And yeah, Robert, you're right, dude. Tim is the nicest guy you could ever meet, you know. Like, YouTube should have a Crossroads type event down by the Riffer. Great username, by the way. Yeah, that could be cool, man. I keep wanting to, like, I want to find a way to get more of, like, the YouTube community together. Somebody asked a question earlier, I just caught a glimpse of it, about, like, do you think the YouTube community, if that person's still on here, feel free to post it again, because I want to make sure I don't butcher it, but, like, do you feel like the YouTube community is competitive, like the guitar community is competitive? And I don't feel that way at all, man. I actually feel the complete opposite way. I feel like this group, I mean, like Robert being on the stream right now, and RJ is the same way. Like, dudes are incredibly kind, incredibly supportive. This isn't a competition. Like, the way I see it, we're all sort of working towards the same thing, maybe even inadvertently, where we're just trying to raise the profile of the guitar, of our instrument. Like, I want people to watch my channel and get inspired to go play guitar. Like, I don't know if it's happened. If it has, it would be cool, but, like, I would want somebody to, like, stumble upon one of my videos who doesn't play guitar and watch something and be like, oh man, that's cool, I want to do that, and go out and, like, buy a guitar, and then go on Tim's channel, or go on Robert's channel, or go on RJ's channel, or Mary's channel, or Paul David's, or Rick Beato, Pete Thorne, any of these people, and, like, start learning how to make music and learning how to play. Like, to me, that is the greatest thing, man. You know, my dad and I were at that Paul Reed Smith event yesterday, and there was a young kid in the audience, like a 13-year-old kid there. And I ended up talking to him for a little while after the thing. And this kid at 13 already knows more about his guitar. He was telling me, I asked him, like, what he played. He's like, oh, I've got a Squier Affinity Strat, and, you know, I've swapped the pickups out. I've put noiseless pickups in, and then I put this kind of humbucker in. And blah. I'm like, dude, at 13, I had one guitar. I didn't know what the pickup selector even really did. I knew that it changed the sound somehow. And sometimes I like this selection, sometimes I like that selection. And I was learning, like, riffs off of the radio and off of my CD player. Like, that's where I was at 13. And here's this kid at 13, he's like, yeah, I've already put this pickup, I'm trying something else, and yeah, I'm looking for a new amp. I've got a Boss Katana right now, but I want a Marshall. And I was blown away by this kid's knowledge. But it's because of things like YouTube, and because of things like, you know, just the internet, and there's so much information going around there. It's like easier than ever to get into this stuff and start learning and passing this information along. Like, I've been fortunate and lucky to be able to do what I do for almost 10 years now, and I've learned a lot, and I have a lot to learn, but I've learned a lot in playing guitar. And I feel an obligation to maybe try and pass what little bit I know down to somebody else, in hopes that it'll, like, help them and inspire them to play, or and get better at music or something, you know. Yeah, with this kid yesterday, dude, he was so awesome. It's like, this 13, he had a Wayne's World hat on and everything. It was like, it was so good. Yeah, man. So this live stream's been kind of all over the place, but, you know, sometimes they are. Have the 335 on hand. I do. I actually have two 335s right now. One's not mine, but this one's mine. Tom, if you watched me from early on the channel, the confidence in musicianship seems to have grown immensely over the last several years. Thanks, man. They absolutely have. Making YouTube videos has made me a much better guitar player than I was when I started. Oh man. Yeah, this is still the Tone Master Deluxe Reverb. I haven't changed anything. What's up, Robert? All right, so we've had enough questions. So yeah, Robert, how's the Iridium? Should I just plug up the Iridium? I think, yeah, I've got power here, and I could patch it in. Thanks, James, for hanging out, man. Does anybody want me to plug in the Iridium? We're going through the Deluxe Reverb right now. But if you give me a second, I can patch it together here. All right, everyone talk amongst yourselves for just a second. All right. Hopefully this doesn't blow out. No, we should be good. So I'm just going to run it in mono right now. So now there's not going to be a way for me to like show it, unfortunately. I don't have the camera set up, but basically I'm just taking a 1/4 inch, like a TRS to XLR cable. I'm going to go in the out, switch it to mono. That'll let me get some power for it. So I'm going to run my pedal board into the front of it here. So it's literally going to be like an amp. Just a straight up amplifier. Actually, I'm going to put it on the floor because power will reach it here. All right. I know what we'll do. So you guys were just hearing the Deluxe Reverb. Now we'll do the Iridium on the Fender setting and see how it sounds. I've just got it sound like Mark here. All EQs at noon. Just a little bit of reverb. And actually we'll go back to the 335 because that's the last thing I played on it. So nothing else has changed. We've just switched to the Iridium here. And wonder why I'm not getting signal. Wait. There it is. So this is the Fender setting with the built-in reverb, like the room reverb here. Put my other ear in. Definitely doesn't sound like the Deluxe, that Deluxe, really at all. My favorite setting on it though is the Marshall setting. And here's why, because it does the turn on some reverb from the Big Sky here. I'll turn down the room. Somebody's asking about the woman tone. It'll do the woman tone. Let's see here. Yeah. I mean, it does that thing, man. And then the AC30 setting. I mean, it's cool. Put the Les Paul through it here. Yeah, but I like the AC30. The AC30 works well for... All right, Robert, thanks, man. Thanks for hanging out. Like, I'll turn the gain down on the AC30 a little bit. And it works really well for the ambient stuff. So for like you church guys out there that are looking at this, I know that's like the one thing all the worship dudes are wondering about is like, how does the AC30 sound? So this is it with like a pretty long reverb and delay. No, it is not running into the Tone Master. It's just sitting on top of the Tone Master. You're not hearing the Tone Master at all right now. So without the delay, well, without the chorus. And then overdrive in front of the Iridium, so we'll hit it with the Mythos Mjolnir. So here it is, the AC30 side. It's pretty AC30-esque. Actually, one of my favorite things to do is this kind of sound right here. The I mean, it sounds good, man. Sounds really, really good. I'll pull the room reverb like all the way up so you can kind of clean it up a little bit with the So there goes the monetization on this live stream, but whatever. Here's the Lawrence Petros Saguaro boost, which is kind of like a Klon. I mean, sounds like a Marshall, man. Let's see. Does not suck, man. works well for the bluesy stuff too, you know, if you hit it with a little boost, like give it some room, little room reverb. So we're saying the high enough solo. I actually need to practice it because I have to practice for Noah this week because I haven't played his stuff in a while. So this will be the Marshall with the Mjolnir. Yeah, man. Well, everyone, I think we're about to wrap it up here. If there's a couple more questions, let me know. Oh, you know what else this tone reminds me of? Is actually, let's switch to the telly here for this. Speaking of Tom Petty. That. Yeah, man, that's a perfect song. That is a perfect song. So there you go. That's the Iridium. How does that go? It's been forever since I played this. What is that? What key is that song in? Awesome. Anyways. Oh yeah. Help for the demonetization blues. I appreciate it, man. I feel like if there was a demonetization blues, it would sound, it'd be end it on a major third. Awesome. Let's try some slapback in front of it here. So that's the room reverb on the Iridium with some slapback from the Timeline. Play some Jimmy on it. Oh, what is it? We'll turn the delay off. Gabby B, what's up, man? New amp? No, this is the Strymon Iridium. Messing around with this. Man, I just don't want to stop playing this thing. It's a great practice tool. Like right now, I'm just playing into the Iridium by itself, and it's like, it's all I need. We'll try back to the Fender setting. The deluxe reverb honestly is my least favorite setting out of all of them. So there's different types of reverbs on this thing. That's the short one. Let me go to the, this is the medium room. So, turn the... It will get kind of tweed-ish if you push the mids all the way up and get that kind of, let's see. Let's see what how does this song go? Anyways. It will get pretty tweedish, especially if you hit it with a boost. So like that, oh, it's a little hot now. Hold on. Turn it down. It doesn't suck, man. anyways, I'm just noodling now. I'm going to gonna end it before I embarrass myself. So thanks everyone. This stream was kind of all over the place, but it was fun. So thanks to everyone that hung out till the end. I'm gonna try and start making this a more regular thing, but with the way the schedule has been recently, it's been more difficult than I originally intended. So anyways, thanks everyone for watching, and catch you guys on the next one.